Ego, pride, shame, guilt, whatever you want to call it, everyone has their own perception. This video is actually going to be dedicated to my man Wesley. He follows me on Instagram and hit me directly. I had to introduce Wesley to my YouTube page because he made a request on my thought and my view on ego. And basically the way that he explained it was there was some constant challenges that he faced, when going through his startup, because he's starting up a business. And I didn't confirm if it was business to business or business to consumer, but nonetheless, when you're at your startup phase, whenever you start something, whether it's a startup company of your own business or you're starting a new employment, you're going to run across these challenges that your own, what he mentioned was ego, was that voice in his head saying, yeah, you might not make it, or you would if you fail. It's that voice of doubt. And however you want to perceive it, whether you call that voice ego, whether you call it shame, whether you call it guilt, or whether you call it that little voice, whatever it is, it's relevant, and it's relevant to all of our lives, whether you're starting up a business or not, whether you're facing a risk or not. You just have that voice, and it kind of mentors you, right? It's your very first mentor because it was the only mentor you knew, and it's always with you all the time. And this is basically your thought process. This is your in my opinion, this is your DNA, right? It's the way that we are programmed to operate. And I'm going to answer his request, my thought on ego and pride, and how to overcome it or how to deal with it. My answer to you, Wesley, is that ego and pride will always be there. It's always going to be relevant, much like it will always be relevant that those closest to you will care the most for you, right? They're just going to care for you, like your guardians, your parents, your sister, your brother, your family. Traditionally, your family is going to be the one that protects you. It's been this way since the beginning of time. And the reason why I bring that up is because they care for you. They've actually unknowingly wired us, and I'm going to say us because it seems like we're the same age, we grew up within the same era. Our parents more than likely are from the same generation, or our elders are from the same generation. And that's a generation where it's not as advanced as it is today. It's not as technologically equipped as we are today. So our elders went through life and went through the world with fax machines and pagers. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't even have cable yet. Like, that's how life was. It was real, and it was with such limited capabilities, right? And I'm not fretting on them. I'm not calling your elders failures or they missed out. What I'm telling you is that they are sharing with you all that they know, and because they care for you, they're also going to give you a disclaimer, that little small fine print, that you see on an advertisement. Well, in this case, it's going to be that last word after they give you the pat on your back, after they tell you, go knock them dead, tiger. And then they're going to add in that word, just be safe, or just watch out, make sure you don't put all your eggs in one basket, Jimmy. It's that one last sentence at the very end. Now think back, if you've ever told anyone that really cares about you that you're about to take a risk, ask them, say, or tell them right out the bat, just try it for fun. And you'll notice that they'll support you, but then they'll add that disclaimer, and it's not their fault. It's just the way, they're wired. We're wired, and we're probably going to do the same thing with our kids. And so where I'm getting at is, how do I deal with ego? Or in this case, how do I deal with that, with that voice in my head? Because in my opinion, I believe ego is having too much pride to watch this video. It's because your ego is saying, oh, this guy's, look at him, he's sweaty. He's Filipino. That's your ego stopping you. It's your ego that you're too pride to learn off of someone. But it doesn't seem like you have, that issue just communicating with you on my DM on Instagram, because you're open, and I even mentioned to Wesley, I'm like, hey man, sometimes I curse, so I hope you can get past that. Kind of, again, I give him that disclaimer. He replied back, he's all, man, you know what? He's all, I believe people that curse are the most creative, and I fucking agree with you, bruh. So in exchange for that comment, what I'm going to tell you is that voice, I'm not going to call it ego, I'm not going to call it pride or anything, but it's that voice of doubt to be honest with you, that voice of doubt is actually coming from you. It's coming from you because of the experiences you've had. It's coming from you because of the advice you've been given. And don't get mad at it. Just understand where it comes from and understand that it's not necessarily the same situation as our elders came from, because we are more technologically advanced. We have more capabilities, more resources, more reach. Like, I'm communicating with you in the DM. Your elders could not do that with just some random stranger. Now we can upload videos and content and memes and just document our lifestyle where we could share our experience. Whereas before, years ago, we had to get the information from books. Our elders had to wait until there was a book release, and then they had to read it, or they'd have to watch Oprah. You know what I mean? And that was like the heads up. And of course, media is I would definitely recommend, if anyone is watching news right now, find a better thing to do with your time. If you like reading Yahoo News, or if you like watching night news or news first thing in the morning, I honestly feel that you're destroying your momentum. Not only that, but you're destroying your positive outlook on life, because all you read about in the media, or all you read about in the news, or in the newspaper or the news blogs, typically is bad information. You know what I mean? Like, it's just fucking bad. And I used to do that. I used to watch news all the time, but I think that negative emotion instills fear, and that fear becomes the voice in your head. Why? Is because when you're trying to start up a business, and then you have that fear that what if you fail, it's because of the advice you got from your elders. It's because of maybe an experience that you've had. Maybe you've tried something, you failed, and you've been burned before. But when you can get past that and understand that as long as you emit the frequency, you emit the energy that is needed to be in the person that you want to become, right? And so for Wesley's situation, he has a startup. Wesley, my recommendation to you is that envision what you want your business to be. And I know you probably already have this image inside your head, whether it's a year from now, 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, but literally map out your goal. And map it out to a point where this time next year you want to be here, and this time in 5 years you want to be here. And my question to you is that in 10 years, right? It's beyond 1 year, at least 5 or 10 years. Really, really take some time, ideally the first hour of your day, to just sit in absolute silence and close your eyes and genuinely focus on what your business will look like in 5 to 10 years. Genuinely focus, really focus on what success would look like, how your business, how your office would look, how you will look, how your house would look, how your car would look, how your bank account would look, the ideal destination, and really envision it to the point where you could see it, where you could touch it, where you could feel it. Because only then, with your eyes closed and inside your head, can you create that vision to rewire that voice that's giving you doubt. And so if you are able to consistently see this image for the very first thing you do in the day, every day you wake up, you go, you don't even have to be an hour of silence. You just sit there for 15, 20 minutes. And again, if you got to sacrifice and stop watching nightly news, or you got to wake up a half hour early, I would recommend doing it. Because it's that voice that stays with us throughout the day. So if we can invest the first 30 minutes of our day to cease or silence a voice that's going to fuck up the rest of our day, then that's worth waking up a half hour earlier. But if we can design that image of success and that destination that we want to be at in 10 years or 5 years from now, and every day we wake up and we envision that, we not only envision it and see it, but we also can imagine what it would feel like, the sense of confidence, the sense of security, the sense of accomplishment, the sense of winning, the sense of gratitude, because you are thankful that the universe put that together for you, that you were in the right position. So imagine what that feels. And you might be saying, well, Daniel, I don't know what that feels like. Sure you do. You have to look back at other events in your life, at times where you're the most excited, at the times where you felt most accomplishment. And it's going to require that you kind of rewire that memory and imagine it happen with your own business. And you probably already have this idea of what that feeling is. And I ask that you use that feeling, because if you do this for the first half hour of your day, your life changes, because you are, instead of jumping into the news with some depressing ass shit, or instead of jumping into your inbox with some depressing ass shit, or instead of thinking about your tasks, your challenges, and the chores that you have to do that day and get bummed out, get deflated, and naturally want to procrastinate, you know, you're getting a snapshot of who you will become. And you have to train yourself that you're already in that position, so that when you open your eyes, you're already there. Now the challenge is going to be, you're not going to be able to see it, you know, physically. So you're not going to see it like what you could touch, what you can see. You know, if you look at your bank account, it's going to be different than what you envision the first 15 minutes of the day. And you cannot let that distract you. You just have to have confidence, knowing that you're headed in the right direction, because your attitude is designed for that direction. It's designed for that path. And believe me, this works. You know, I've done it myself. And this is from advice from mentors I've had along the way. You know, and I was able to do a lot of great things by doing this, and I'm still practicing it today. You know, I do it every morning, and I think that when you realize that this voice, whether it's ego, pride, shame, or what have you, is really you are able to revise the wording of that voice. You can actually train yourself to reword the voice. And so when you wake up and you're thinking of a challenge that you have for the day, usually before, that voice would say, oh man, this is gonna suck, or oh, I can't do that, or oh, I can't do this until that, or oh, I'm just gonna ignore it, or I can't do this, whatever, I can't, right? And you realize that that's just an excuse. You realize that that's just the anchored emotion from past advice that you got from your elders with good intent, but nonetheless it's just past old advice. Or that's just you because you're fearful, because you've dropped the ball before. It's your voice is what I'm saying. And when you identify that it is just an illusion, those thoughts or that fear, because fear is an illusion, or that doubt is actually set by you. No one else doubted you, and if they did, fuck them, right? But no one else doubted you, because they don't know what you have to do throughout that day. But our perception is that we think everyone's watching us. We think that everyone is just living their life around us, right? Like, oh, what is my friend gonna say? What's my mom gonna say? What's my dad gonna say? What's my friends gonna, you know, my best friend, my girlfriend, my spouse, what are they gonna say? At the end of the fucking day, you know, they're gonna say what they're gonna say, right? But what truly matters is whether or not you actually try. And as long as you try and you do your absolute best, I think you'll have support regardless, because that in itself shows that you have enough courage to do what most will not do. So number one, know this, that I see you. I see you taking a risk. I see you utilizing the resources, the capabilities, and the technology that is available today, whereas your elders, our guardians, our past mentors didn't have this capability. And our generation, us right now today, 2017, I see you and I appreciate you. I acknowledge you for wanting more, for wanting to be better, for not wanting to take advantage of the capabilities that we have. And instead of watching fucking Netflix and chill, you'd rather build a fucking empire and chill. You get me? So I hope this video helps, but just my last answer to you is the punchline here is that you know, how do you get past that voice? Continue watching Sales Remastered, continue sending me on the DM, but I really do hope that this content helped. If it did, please share, like, comment, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.